One of the most important things to do on our weight loss journey is to weigh ourselves every morning. This is a very important part of the routine, and I'm going to explain why. Because our weight fluctuates throughout the week, and it is directly related to what we eat. I know there's a lot of scale anxiety some people can have. They don't want to know the truth, but you have to face the music every single day. And here are some reasons why. Number one, we need the direct feedback. And that's going to motivate what we do today and what we eat today. As I began this business a few years ago as part of my weight loss journey and what became the blog on Instagram at Dragon Body Fit, I knew that I needed to have this daily measurement and daily form of motivation, because when I would wake up, jump on the scale, we always want to do this in the morning because we haven't had any intake yet. So the only time to ever weigh yourself is first thing in the morning, before any food intake. So, for obvious reasons, if you go to the bathroom several times before any food intake at all, any drink intake at all, that's the best ideal time to do it, to know exactly how you are on an empty stomach. If you forgot to weigh yourself and you've already been, drinking things and eating things, don't do it today. Don't weigh yourself today. Start fresh tomorrow. And in psychology and data collection, science in general, we have certain terms for this. And basically the idea that we're doing is we're creating a baseline. We can't have any variable factors. So variable is a term used in data collection, and variables in what we're talking about right here could be: you drank 2 glasses of water already, you've already had your breakfast, or you haven't gone to the bathroom yet. Different things, right? So we want to have as best similarities between every single day, every time we track the data of stepping on the scale. So, number one reason why we want to weigh ourselves every day is for motivation. Because if you look and you see that you weigh more today than you did yesterday, for me, the first thing I think of is everything that I hate. That's why that number went up. And I can always find something I ate yesterday that's why that number went up instead of went down on the scale. Now, that could have been a cheat meal. It could have been something that wasn't keto. It could have been eating late night snacking, even a late night protein shake. You want to get to know yourself inside and out, get as much data for yourself as possible, and this is how. So, for me, that's my best source of motivation for the day. And yes, it might hurt. It might get you down. It might discourage you, but use it for motivation, because this is a game of wins and losses. Think of your favorite sports team. Do they win 100% of the games over the year? Not likely, but can they still win a championship? Do they win more games than not? On average, is our number going down, right? So the number two reason why we want to be weighing ourselves every day is so that we have true weight loss value. Because take, for example, someone who only weighs themselves a few times a week. You don't know your true weight loss. What if on the day that you weigh yourself, that one day out of the week that you weigh yourself, you caught yourself on one of the higher days? Because those of us who weigh ourselves every single day, we know throughout the week there's going to be ups and downs. But we can see the overall trend. Okay, it's going down. I gain 2 pounds here, but I lost 3 pounds there, or whatever it is, right? We know the trend is good. But for people who only weigh themselves once or twice a week, what if on the days that you weigh yourself, it's one of those days where you're up when your weight's fluctuating up? You don't have the other days to know your actual baseline. You're only looking at the peaks and not the valleys that we're looking for. So that's the second reason I want you guys to weigh yourselves every day so you know your true weight loss. Maybe today wasn't as good, but how did this compare to the week? How does this compare to the month? And I would strongly encourage you to get a scale that is a digital scale. The one I use, it was just a cheap scale I found at CVS, like 30 or 40 bucks, but it auto syncs to my phone and Bluetooth. It's really cool. And not only does it track the weight, it gets BMI, body fat percent, and some other things in there as well. This is huge because we want to look at all the different factors. So say, for example, like me, like I'm honing in on reaching my weight loss goal target, but I'm also building muscle at the same time. Muscle weighs more than body fat. So one thing that might happen in that, before I found the system of measurement, when I would just always measure my weight every day, and I'm working out like crazy, I'm like, why is this number not moving? And then once I started to collect data involving muscle mass and how much of my body is muscle and skeleton versus how much is fat, I could then see the difference. Oh, okay, I'm losing fat and gaining muscle, but because the muscle weighs more than the fat, my physical number, how much my entire body weighs in pounds, isn't changing, but my composition is changing. The fat is going down and the muscle is coming up. Now, the other fun part about that is the more muscle we have in our bodies, the more that muscle is going to burn fat around the clock. And they call that NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So if we're consistently active, if we're building muscle, we're going to burn a lot more fat. It kind of goes in hand with higher metabolism too. Like, some people, like I'll see some people, they'll make posts about, I can eat whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be deliberately making the video with no shirt on. And they got, they're ripped as could be. You gotta be like, 10% body fat. And, clearly shredded, and they're eating all this pizza, donuts, everything. Like, oh yeah, I can eat like this, and you can too. It's not about diet, whatever. And I'm like, okay, because that's their sales pitch for, these ads. If you see that same guy, you really get annoyed by his ads for sure. I don't even know his name, and he's lucky I don't know his name. But I'm always thinking in my head when I'm stuck watching this ad for 5 seconds, I always know that this guy, it's kind of like a joke. It's kind of a gimmick. Like, sure, when you're that ripped and you're that muscular, of course you can eat like that. Because your body's going to burn it off so quick. The more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism burns. So, of course, you're going to eat that, and you have a much bigger, window, much bigger flexibility window of what you can eat. Because at that point, when you're bulking, when you're absolutely shredded and you're just bulking on muscle, you do need a lot of calories and build up. But if you're someone like me honing in on that last 20, 30 pounds of fat as you're transitioning to building muscle, these are the days that will make you or break you. And it's why we want to weigh ourselves every morning, because every morning I step in on that scale. If I see it go up by a pound or 2, sometimes even 3, I know why right then in that moment. And I can think of everything I ate yesterday that made that number go up. So what do? Maybe it's discouraging, but I use it for motivation to make smarter food choices today. Always use setbacks as set-ups to motivate you. Get something out of it. We can't change the past. We can't change what we ate yesterday, but what can we change is today. We have control over what we eat today. We have control over when we eat today. when we start our fasting timer, when we work out, and when we exercise. So use this all for motivation. So far I've listed 2 reasons to weigh yourself every day. And maybe there are more, but these are the biggest reasons that I have right now. I just wanted to take a moment to sound off because I know a lot of people have some anxiety in regards to seeing that number, but you have to face the music. Whether you step on that scale or not, the number is there. It weighs something. It's better to know, even if it's bad news, it's better to know what it is. Because for the people that neglect it for a long time, then it comes a time you step on a scale and you're shocked. It's like, I really let myself go. And that reminds me back to when I first started this blog, the Dragon Body Fit blog on Instagram. It's, I had this idea for the business. I've been working on getting all the products going, the protein powders, all the first 32 products right now, but the first 20, the ones that have the label like this. I'm working on getting all these ones done with the blue background in the mountain. I'm working on doing that, figuring out what I can do, trying to design the app and different stuff. And because I knew that by making this my business, it would motivate me to focus on my personal health during my 30s. Because, I'm 36 now, and I strongly feel that this is one of the most important decades of my life, because the muscle that I gained in this decade might not be there by the time I'm 50, 60, 70 if I don't gain it now. Right? Like, you look at the people who have aged very well. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, so many of the original Power Rangers from the 90s. They were in great shape. Or here's another great example, the Hulk from the original Marvel. Was it a TV show? But like that original Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, when instead of CGI, they would just took a bodybuilder, paint him green, and it's like, oh, here comes the Hulk. It's like, so he's still in great shape too. So there's something to be said for the bodybuilders that have aged very well. And when you're fit in your youth, that's going to carry over a lot. So there's no time like the present. Get as fit as possible. So that became my motivation. My goal for my 30s is to get as fit as possible, build up as much muscle as possible so that I can age well, so that I'll have that as I age in that shape, because I don't think I'll be able to do it in my 50s. Gain a lot of muscle, maybe, but in my 60s and my 70s, can I gain muscle in my 70s that I didn't already put there in my 20s or 30s? Probably not. Right? So I'm planning ahead. So that kind of became my thing. And I just got on this rant just thinking about when I was first building this business and I moved into a rental. So that was about 2.5 years ago now. It was June of 2022. And there was a scale in the bathroom, and I would weigh myself every day. And the first time I looked, it was over 200 pounds. I was shocked. And I was like, wow, I never weighed this much before. At my fittest in my life, that was back in 2013, 11 years ago, I was 155 pounds. And I had gone from like 180 to 155, and there was a big difference visually in my composition. And I shed a lot of excess fat. And then after that, my weight would come and go, and that was in my 20s. And I really wish my routines and habits didn't get away from me, but things happen, right? And so a lot of my 20s was spent like fluctuating. And then towards my late 20s, it was okay. I really got to focus on this now. And so that's been the focus for a few years. Definitely in my 30s, it's like I gotta get this weight gone and I gotta build up this muscle. And here we are today. So there we were, June of 2022, and I'm like, I'm over 200 pounds. What did I do? What happened, right? So every day I would weigh myself, wake up, and maybe go to the bathroom, whatever, a few times, whatever, but just make sure that before you start putting in intake, before food, before drink, you get that pure measurement. We're getting that baseline, no variables, because every day we weigh ourselves when we're absolutely empty, when there's, before we've put things in, variables that will mess with this data collection. And again, I know there's scale anxiety and people can't face the music, but you have to. You need to motivate yourself. You need that daily feedback. When I coach people on weight loss, I want to see every day, good or bad, I want to see that number. I want to know what your scale, what your data is looking like. So even if you don't have even if your scale can't Bluetooth sync to your phone, download an app that allows you to input the number every day. That's just as fine. There's hundreds of apps out there that will let you track your weight and make graphs. Because when I coach people on weight loss, it's Fat No More in 2024. When I coach them on this, I want to see what your week is looking like. Expect it to go up sometimes. That's okay. Use that to motivate you, because at the end of the week, how much did you gain? How much did you lose? Which, compared to the week before, overall, are you losing a few pounds or are you gaining a few pounds? Right? And even if, think about it like this, 52 weeks in a year. If all we lose is 1 pound a week, a year from now, we're 50 pounds lighter, 52 pounds lighter. That could be everyone's goal. That is my goal, and then some, right? If every week we're going down. So we want to break this down into, how much do you weigh now? What is your ideal weight, or what is that weight you remember? For me, 2013, 155 pounds, that was like ripped, that was abs, that was everything. But I have a lot more muscle mass. So when I do hit my next fat loss goal, hopefully this year, I can't expect it to be 155. But if I'm ripped, if the body fat percent is there at 170, at 165, then I've reached the goal, and I'm okay with having more muscle. So what we want to do is we want to look at, how much do we weigh now? How much do we want to weigh? And is there a certain time you want to weigh this by? Are you trying to, get ready for summer? Do you have a wedding, a certain event? And that can motivate you as well. So I'm going to say number three reasons to weigh yourself every day so you don't lose target with your goals. Because let's say, because right now it's January, right? So for me, for example, I act in a Power Rangers film series. So the next film shoot is in June. So come June, how much do I want to weigh? So let's say 160, right? Okay. And I weighed myself this morning. I was like 187, I want to say. So you see, my weights fluctuate a lot during this journey too. And I'm talking from personal experience. We're all in this together. But I keep working hard every day. And I know with fasting, I can drop my weight by like over a pound a day sometimes. And that's still eating. That's this intermittent fast. I'm not fasting entire days. Some people can. I've done it before, but it's hard to get to that point. So I eat a little bit, but then this is how I do it. But so let's say, going on set of Power Rangers in June. I want to weigh 160 pounds come June. Okay? I'm 187 right now. So, and it's mid-January. I'm going to give myself about a solid, what is that? So counting a month from now. February, March, April, May, June. That's 5 months. Okay. I got 5 months, and I got to drop about 25 pounds. Okay. 5 pounds a month, right? See how quickly we just broke that down? And you can break this down for yourself too. So my target is dropping 5 pounds a month. So come February, I should be 180. March, 175. April, 170. May 165, in June 160, right? So this is my rough basic thing right now. And come June, I'll be able to make a post following up to this. Did I make it and did I not? And so this is what people can do for their weddings, for summer in general. If you like me, live in a beachy area and you just want to be more fit, once we take off our jackets, it's very obvious how close we are, how fit we are or not. There's a lot to this. So these are my top 3 reasons why it's important to weigh ourselves every day. And again, I'm here to help you through this. And I have fought this battle up and down for years. But overall, I have lost weight. I haven't gained 20 pounds since June 22. I've lost 20 pounds and then some. And at my best. And I even dipped down into the 170s last summer. And I'll tell you right now, what was it that got me back up into the 180s and even at one point into the 190s? It was diet. It's always diet. It's diet and frequency. Cheat meals are okay, but don't have them consecutively. Don't have, like, for me, what would set me back was entire weekends where a cheat meal weekend, cheat end, cheek end, whatever word we want to say for that, cheek end. Right? The cheek ends don't help. you're going up and going. It's like you spend all week trying to lose that weight, and maybe you do, and then it all comes back. So you can have a cheat meal here and there. I strongly do not recommend a cheat day. And now what's been fun is, I advocate keto a lot. It's got me very far. But I've also learned since this past holiday season, I want to say since Thanksgiving, I really nailed this in, dialed down in on how to eat without keto, especially in the past month or so, how to even reintroduce rice into my diet and things that aren't on a keto diet and still make it work for me with weight loss and health. And again, some of this is intermittent fasting, but not all of it. And so we got to go through periods of our body adapting and then cleaning it out and then reintroducing things. So you can do this with dairy, which is really good too, because, let's face it, a lot of health problems do come from dairy, but also a lot of benefits too, like the calcium and the other things for bones and all that. But one of the things that people have issues with dairy isn't necessarily the dairy, but it's all the junk, all the growth hormones, the RBT things, all that stuff, all the fillers, all the things that they put into the cows to make them overproduce milk and all that stuff. So it's more a problem of fillers than the actual food itself. If you have a clean dairy, nice high quality ice cream, or even if you spend twice as much for milk, I'll buy milk that's $6-7 a carton because I know it's healthy for me, and it doesn't have the fillers, and it doesn't affect me the way that the cheap milk does. So it's all about investment in how you spend it. But dairy is another example where you can cut it out of your diet for a while and then reintroduce it the right way. And so that's what I had done with rice, and it's fine now. Like look at Asians. Their entire civilization is cornerstoned on rice. They've been eating rice for thousands of years. Rice paddy capital of the world is in Asia. That's what they do is rice. Like rice was the corn of there, as the Mayans and the Native Americans populated the North and South America through corn. And Asians are usually in very good shape and very healthy, and historically very, so a lot of people study this, like, why? What are they doing that we're not? And they have a clean diet. So we can understand from these comparisons here. Rice can't be that bad. Can't be much of a problem if civilizations that have lived off rice as a staple to their diet for thousands of years are usually pretty thin and pretty in shape. And then they look at the Japanese, a lot of their fish in that diet. So fish is good, right? So we can kind of compare, but basically I'm just talking about how we can reintroduce things to our body that are still good for ourselves. And this is just, again, I go on my rants and I try to break out these videos into smaller videos, but I just wanted to share. These were my top 3 reasons. And again, any comments, any suggestions, any ideas, good or bad, it's all discussion. This is all science. My body is different than yours. Yours is different than other people's, but there's some common denominator here, because no one can deny that keto works for so many people. I have seen it as the most effective diet for so many people. And when I struggled to really get that weight to move, keto was the answer for me. And I've seen people drop dozens and dozens of pounds so fast, and it is keto. And I said, how'd you do that? Keto. So there's something to be said for that that's universally applicable. And what we're trying to do with these sciences is find out what works for everyone or most people, or what works when. So I did keto to get my diet to budge, numbers to move, and then now I can break the mold a little bit and eat more things, but also still eating healthy with rice. But even when I have treats, snacks, cheats, whatever, my weight is still going down. And that's where I am now, figuring out how to be a little more flexible with your diet, how to go beyond keto and still get great results. And that's what this is all about. So I'm happy to coach and consult anyone on their journey. Hit me up on Instagram at DragonBodyFit. Leave a comment here, and let's get talking, and let's get you to your goal.